The second half of the season is just about to get underway, but as the Stags exit the FA Cup thanks to a poor second half display on Tuesday, the question is, do they have enough in the tank to remain fully focused at the task in hand? To be fair, had the prize been a trip to Craven Cottage rather than a home tie against Fulham, tonight's podcast could have been very different indeed. As it is, we don't seem too fussed and now have to put full focus on the league, starting with the visit of presumably still managerless Wycombe Wanderers tomorrow, a day where 3 points should be guaranteed thanks to the birthday fairy. That's how it works, right? It certainly did back in 2003. Anyway, tonight we'll talk all about the FA Cup exit and the 23 games ahead, and probably the transfer window as well. And we'll have a little bit of added fun with some pre-birthday celebrations. Yes, if you've not worked it out yet, it's my birthday tomorrow, so you can say happy birthday or just completely ignore the fact as we talk all about Mansfield Town in the live feed. Come and have your say on your team. Why? Because Mansfield matters. Hopefully, we should have eaten our cake by now. Hello and welcome to the Mansfield Matters Podcast. It's the show for the fans, by the fans. Why? Because Mansfield always matters. Hope that you're doing well. A very good evening to you as well. And as you may have noticed, it's a little bit different tonight because we're back in the room once again, all together for a little bit of a birthday party. Now, I said in the pre-recorded intro there, have we had enough time to finish eating cake? Well, I can tell you we have, because we all got here early today in eager anticipation to eating the cake. So we are all here to say hello. So let's say hello and good evening to the rest of the gang as we switch cameras to the one that's over there. We're over there now, look, there we go. Which is a little bit foggy because it's the crappy webcam, but there you go. It's the only way I can fit us all in. Anyway, hello and good evening to the man over on the far side who's just been twiddling with knobs and not for the first time today. That's Mr. Clive Parkin. Evening, Clive.
Hello, Craig. It's not very often I get the chance to twiddle with your knobs.
Yes, yes. I have got a court case on about that, so it's all good. Good evening. Thank you so much for coming to join us and for your lovely gift as well.
Happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you very much. I'm going to delve into this little bag again in a minute because I'll reveal some secrets in just a second. Let's say hello and good evening to the man who has actually got a watch on his wrist, and that is Mr. Alan Wilson. Good evening, Al. You need to turn the microphone on. Evening, Al. There it is. There it is.
Good evening, Craig. Good evening, everybody, and happy birthday for tomorrow, Craig.
Thank you very much. And the man who's got more shirts than the Shirts Factory, he's in fact going on holiday in hunt of more Mansfield Town shirts. His missus doesn't know that yet, but he definitely is. And that is Nick of Mansfield Town Shirts fame.
Hello, Craig, and happy birthday for tomorrow.
Thank you very much. You don't need to move that; it will pick you up. So it's
trying to obscure my face.
Well, there you go. I think you can tell by the screen that it's probably obscured as much anyway that you were way off. So there you go. Thanks so much for joining us tonight. As always, if you want to have your say on your team, you can do in the live feed comments. We'll be talking all about the FA Cup exit, looking ahead to tomorrow's game against Wycombe Wanderers and having a bit of a laugh along the way as well. So please do come and have your say in the live feed. Not doing very well tonight because I've not even got that little thing at the bottom. There it is. You know, that thing which says, the views expressed in this broadcast are solely those of the individual. Should we put us on full screen? There we go. That's better. Right. I don't think I can see the comments, though, if I do that. Doesn't matter. We'll get them up in a little bit. Right. Let's delve into it then, shall we? And start by looking back on Tuesday night, Clive. FA Cup exit. And like I said in the intro, we'd have been sat here maybe a little bit more disappointed had the potential third round tie been Fulham away. As it was Fulham at home. So in the end, we probably walked away from One Call Stadium not as disappointed as we perhaps would have been.
No, I mean, if they'd been drawn away to Manchester United or Liverpool or something, it would have been a significant disappointment, purely financially. But they didn't play well enough to win, and they took advantage of the opportunities they had. I thought we played well enough. But it was the FA Cup, and it don't really matter, does it? I didn't want to go to Wembley again anyway.
No. Once you've won there once, that's it, isn't it, really?
Yeah, you don't need to, do you, if you keep... you've done it once, you've done it a million times.
Nothing matches the Freight Rover.
No. Alan Wilson. Hello.
Hello, Craig.
Have Have you?
Is it the 38th minute? Yeah.
Let's tell the
20
time.
minutes out, I think.
What? Now, you know on this podcast that we love a Wilson gaff. Allah exchanged and a few other instances
There's
over
been
the
quite
years.
a few. I don't know what happened, Craig. I can't fathom it. And I was looking at the clock and it said 47 minutes and whatever. And for some reason, I just said 38 minutes, but I did rectify it.
But only after we told you.
Correct.
And they'd scored again.
Yeah, they scored again. Yeah, you had to wait till the second goal to rectify it. Oh, yeah, and the first goal was scored in the 48th minute, not 38.
It's Wilson version of VAR.
WAR.
Very wrong.
I love it. It's great. I always find it hilarious. But I hear through Nick that you had that Alan had a few defenders, didn't he, for his gaff, Nick?
Yeah, there's always somebody shouted he's got that wrong, and somebody else shouted it's the first time he's got anything wrong in 30 years, so calm down. To which me and my dad pointed out a few that we could remember off the top of our heads in those 30 odd years.
All I can say is nobody's perfect.
Absolutely not.
And you know what? That's what makes you the man and the legends which you so are, Al. So there you go. On the pitch, though, Nick, it was an FA Cup exit. Played well first half, but second half, I felt we let ourselves down a little bit.
Thought we played really well first half. It's one of those where you think we really need to probably score while we're on top. But yeah, second half, we just come out a bit flat, didn't we? I think I was surprised, actually, that we did come out so flat. I thought he might make a couple of changes at half time. He didn't. But yeah, we just came out really flat. And that Asgard, who scored both their goals, was a class above, wasn't he? I don't think they've got any other better players than Stags have, but he seems championship standard to me whenever I've seen him play. I thought he played really well at their ground, and he did score there. And what can you do with that second goal, for example? 1-0, I fancy us to still be in the game, maybe nick an equaliser. We did really push second half of the second half. But once he sticks it in the top corner from there, could we have closed down better? Did Jordan make a bit of a mistake? It doesn't really matter. But then he pings one in from 30 yards, and after that we did try, didn't we? But we didn't have that final ball again. That was the problem, wasn't it? We created so many good crossing opportunities and either went too loud or too high or whatever, and that's ultimately what cost us.
I think it's one of those things, Clive, isn't it, where you look back at it and go, two isolated instances in the game, but we probably need to come out of the blocks first half a little bit better and take something into the dressing room at half time. So we had the opportunities.
Yeah, I've seen us start better than we did on that occasion. We looked a little bit tired. I don't know why, because we've had a decent break. I thought the new lad, the lad from Tottenham, started well.
I thought he did really well.
But he faded after a while, which is understandable. But yeah, what's just been said is perfectly right. We had a decent share of the first half. They scored a corker. The second half, we just didn't match what we'd done in the first half. And on balance, can't complain about losing.
Not really, no. I don't think we probably tested their goalkeeper that much. They didn't test him really apart from the goals, but they took the chances.
Two good goals, that's it.
And that's proving to be the difference, Al. But I guess the thing for Mansfield is what we take away from that game and learn going into the second half of the season is we probably don't have enough energy when it gets to a certain point in the game. And that, as it goes on, becomes a bit of a worry, doesn't it? That the fact that if we don't score within the first half or before the hour mark, we really do tend to struggle in terms of getting a foothold in the game.
I think that's true to a certain degree, but I also think that, such as tomorrow, if he plays Gregory and Evans together up front, which I assume he may do, with it being Wickham and in the league, I think we might see a different outcome. I think it was just a case of one not feeding off the other. Akins again pulled about from pillar to post again and getting nothing. We had about 9 fouls, and as soon as Gregory clipped one of their heels, which weren't even a booking, the bloke would get the ref would get the card out. And I just think one of those nights, 2 moments of brilliance, like we said before. But it's a shame because I like to see good cup runs and league runs go hand in hand. But, it's just one of them things. Move on. Let's look forward to Saturday.
Was it a strange partnership for you, Nick, when you saw the team lineup with Akins and Gregory up top? Because they're two almost similar players in what they do, and it didn't seem to work for me, especially there were a couple of times where Lucas Akins ended up doing a Lucas Akins and his touch bounced back towards the other end of the pitch again, didn't it?
Yeah, I think they are too similar, but I think if you're going to rest Evans, which is a good idea, he's played a lot of football, we don't really have any other options. You haven't got Gale. He was in and he's gone. We've obviously Nichols has gone. Oates is injured, so we didn't really have a massive amount of options to play if you're not going to start Evans. So it seems to be it's 2 from 3, isn't it, at the minute to start up top. So 2 of them had to play. They are very similar players. I think actually it reflected worse on Gregory than did Akins. I thought Akins actually was involved in the game. He didn't, he's not going to bang goals in every week, but I thought some of his setup play was nice. But I think Gregory needs somebody around him who's going to be an Evans and be literally up and down every 2 minutes and scaring the defenders with pace, which gives him a little bit of space. I think those two ended up in the same positions quite a lot. And we didn't have a lot of penetration from midfield. I think Quinn was a bit lost again. Unfortunately, I think
Quinn looks spent.
I think he's more of a 60-minute bring him on kind of guy. He's
gone the opposite way to where he was, hasn't he?
He's
not got 60 in the tank anymore. He's got 30.
I don't think he has. I think he kind of looked a bit flat. The new guy I thought got stuck in really well. But yeah, up front, I don't know. They were too samey, weren't they? They were very similar players and it just didn't really test their back line. I think I found a lot of time Akins would get pulled out wide and the cross would go in and there was no one there.
Who was the sponsor's man of the match?
Quinn. It was Quinn, which I wasn't quite sure about. I'm not going to slag him off. I just don't think he had a good game, and I think he struggles with the pace starting from at the start of the game, and he came out second half even slower. I think at half time I would have probably brought him off. But
it's a really difficult one with Stephen Quinn, isn't it, Clive? Because obviously he's been such a stalwart of the club. He's taken it to heart. If you cut him open, he would literally bleed amber and blue. He is that sort of, you can just see that the passion is very much still there. He's probably given us a season too many in terms of his career, but I think it's just the whole momentum which has taken him there. But now we're now having to start to maybe think about the future with him and with that position in particular. But also, I guess you could sort of look at the squad in terms of ages and go, well, that might be right for 3 or 4, because I think if you look at the next transfer window at the end of the season, there's a lot of people out of contract, a lot of people who are reaching a certain age, and you're thinking, have they got the ability to play this level? And then the caveat on top of that is, what's the ambition for next season? Because if it's to push towards the playoffs, yes, we've clearly got the capabilities within the squad now, but we haven't really got the capabilities to take that on another year and up another level.
I mean, whatever we do this year, we're going to have to take some of the old guard out because nature takes its course. So I think this turnaround year that will be a really important one for the recruitment team because they need to find some young blood. And the old guard have served us well. They don't owe us anything. And going back to our friend Akins, he didn't have a brilliant game, to be fair, but he'd always got 2 defenders on his back and about 200 Stags fans. I mean, it takes a lot of playing with all that on your back, doesn't it?
yeah, it feels like that at times, doesn't it?
But I thought it was an odd pairing, to pick up on your earlier point. It wasn't a good fit, putting Gregory and Akins. In fact, Akins isn't really a striker in my book.
He never was before he came to
No,
Mansfield,
I don't
either,
think
which
he
is very
was,
strange.
yeah.
For me, a right winger with like somebody on the left and Gregory in the middle seems to make more sense for me with Akins.
I mean, his commitment is beyond reproach. He is always available when he's very rarely injured. And he'll play wherever the gaffer tells him to play.
Do you know what? I think that's what makes it the really difficult thing, Alan, is the fact that the commitment level is 955 million% compared to, obviously the aging process and the toll it takes on the legs and ability as the seasons go on. The higher that percentage of endeavour and willing to work, the harder it becomes, A, as a management team, and then B, as a fan base, to see those players step aside, because undoubtedly these are players now who are etched forever in our history.
And I just think it's hard on Akins a lot of the time because he doesn't get any help from any of the officials at all.
Oh, the official was poor.
I know, but it's week in, week out. They always trying to take his shirt off him. There's, like Clive said, there's 2 defenders on him every time. It's like the butt, as soon as when the opposition sees Mansfield's team and they probably see Akins, and right, 2 men on him, pull him about, we're not going to get chastised for it. So I just feel sorry for that bloke at times out here.
The last few games, he's done some really good flicks onto other people, and I think they've obviously seen that and thought, well, if I can rough him up and he can't get a clear run at the ball, he's not
I think I know there's an element of our fan base that find it hard to support the lad, and I understand they don't see what a lot of us do see in. But you've only got to look at the respect he gets from the opponents. And if you speak to anybody at the club, on the playing side of the club, they all have absolute respect for them. So I trust their judgment more than some of the people who are
on Facebook
around me and on Facebook. Yeah. Well, everyone's entitled to an opinion, however stupid it is.
Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team as ever if you want to say anything about the Stags tonight, particularly if you watch it on the Facebook feed, because I can see that on my phone. I can't always see it when we do it this way on the TV, because I need my eyes tested. I'm an old man now, or at least I will be tomorrow. So one comment that's come in is from Marie, which says, Craig seems a decent signing. I would have to agree. I mean, my ability has been there for years, but Nigel Clough has just never
best signing we've ever made.
Yeah. Every position. I've played every position, including goalkeeper. I've got one up on Jordan Bowery.
You're only here because Cam can't make
I know, yeah. I know. Some would say I'm just a BTEC Cam Felton. So there you go. And Ross has been in touch. Ryan's been in touch. See, eyes again. To say, do you think there's another player on the way to sign in? Who would you fancy taking a place in the team? I think it's a difficult situation, Alan, is it? Because we know historically through Nigel Clough's transfer windows not to expect too much in the January window, especially. But there are clearly areas of the team which we would all like to see strengthen now. But again, we're restricted by the registration window, and as we are at the minute, we are full.
And it's like he said in his interview, didn't it? Nigel alluded to that. It all depends basically how Reece Oates comes along. If he comes on, pretty well within the next 2 weeks or whatever, I don't think there'll be that much activity in the transfer window. But it'll be interesting to see what he does with the new guy and Reed. Because I think they're two different players from what I saw.
I think they can play together. I don't think it's one or the other.
He got stuck in, and there was no 40-yard passes like Reed does, so I think they could complement each other if need be.
I'd like to see Matthew Craig play a little bit higher. I think he can sort of play that role almost in behind the strikers, sort of in that second line of in midfield when you break it down, because some of the moves he made going forward, he wasn't afraid to get stuck in. He could sort of see where the ball was going to go. I think that's a good thing. If he can nick the ball, that might actually alleviate a little bit of space for Evans to nick it and sort of maybe play a little bit more on the front foot, which we want him to do a bit more.
Yeah, I mean, not since Lapsley left have we had an advanced midfielder. He wasn't the world's best, but he actually complemented the midfield quartet we had at that time. We've lost that now, and we're with too much dependence on one midfield player who's an excellent player. We know that you can wear single players out that way, and so he needs support. And I'm hoping that this chap, what's he called,
Matthew Craig, Craig Priest. Let's just sign him.
He might be the answer. Well, it's going to take 2 or 3 games to suss him out, really.
I think him with Reed and Lewis would be interesting in the 3.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting.
Don't forget my man Maris.
He
scored as well.
I know, his fitness with him.
But I thought Hiram had a decent game for a while, and then he's faded a little bit.
Yeah, I think the whole team did it in unison. It all seemed, doesn't it? We sparked up a bit with the subs again, but
I think it, a bit deflated after that second goal, weren't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of a kick in the teeth, isn't it, when you're trying and somebody pings it in from.
It was a great goal as well, and we essentially lost the ball from our own attack because it was one pass through the entire pitch, which just went straight through us, which is just a little bit of added quality. Somebody's just said in the comments as well about it's also about making sure there's no unwanted outgoings. If I'm going to be honest, Nick, I don't really think there's a player within the squad, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, where I would sit back and go, oh, bloody hell, we've lost this player. I don't think there's anyone that really has that star ability. In previous seasons, we're in the last transfer window, everyone was on the edge of the seats about DKD because of what he's done before. In past windows, you're looking at players like Danny Rose because they've been sort of outstanding players. But I think with this squad, I don't really think there's anyone, if they did go out, that would be a detriment to the squad as a whole, because that Nigel Clough will also bring somebody in that's of the same quality, if not better.
Yeah, no, I agree with that to a point. I think the only one for me would be Reed. I mean, the rest, I'm obviously ignoring the ones that aren't really transferable, which is Gregory, Deji, players like I've just joined on,
Yeah.
going to leave.
Same.
If we're talking about the squad of players that we had from last season, Maris would be a shame, but he's not really fit. Same with Oates and players like that. They're not really 100%. I think Reed would be the big miss for me. My question around Flint is I've heard rumours from multiple people saying that he might be off, and he's not even playing in the cup, is he? Not even getting a game in the FA Cup. I think
he must be.
If there was an outgoing for me, it would be him because he's just not going to play him. And if same with Nichols, if Clough isn't going to play him, then just make it space. We don't need another centre back. We've got enough.
I mean, Flint must be disappointed.
Yeah,
I think
last
so,
year he was very much Superman for us.
He was, and
we needed him badly. Kilgore's absence.
It's what I like to like.
He's dropped down the pecking order, hasn't he?
Yeah, you know what it is? It's the John Joe O'Toole factor repeating itself.
Similar, isn't it?
It's like for like.
I actually think that Clough's got him in mind for a centre forward role. I think that we're short of strikers, so he'll promote him up the front.
Well, Macca played there ahead of him, so
I'm not so sure. Yeah,
maybe. Yeah, I agree with you. I think Flint for me would be somebody to go out because I think we are full, aren't we?
Yeah.
So to bring someone in, he would be the least impactful.
But he's not a young player, and he's therefore not going to be. Many scouts aren't going to be looking for players like.
He's going to be an end of the season on a free deal, isn't he?
The big thing with Aidan Flint is at this stage of the season, who is going to want to pay the wages that he's on, because he will be on ridiculous wages because he's the quality of player that he is, and that's no detriment to him, and he'll want to play football, but I think he'll also want to play football within the area because he's at an age now where he doesn't want to be travelling every week. He had numerous offers, didn't he, before he even joined us, where he could have played at a higher level or whatever, but for teams that were not commutable to him. So there's that factor as well. I do think it is a little bit of a shame, but you can always tell a little bit with Nigel Clough, can't you, Alan, that there's a pecking order and that the writing is almost on the wall. For me, and this is just my opinion, it feels like now Aidan Flint is in that group of players which has been told, if somebody comes in and it's a decent offer and you're happy with it and we're happy with it, we'll let you go. And that's why we're not going to play you, because during the transfer window especially, we don't want to risk injury, which is why when you look at players coming off the bench, Fraser Blake Tracy's coming on ahead of him and we're shuffling the pack in terms of McLaughlin goes out there, Blake Tracy goes in at centre-back or whatever, rather than it being Flint, which would be the natural first choice.
I'm not saying it will be Flint, but I've just got a funny feeling that Nigel's got something up his sleeve. I really have. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but I've just got a feeling Nigel, because he's very shrewd, as we all know.
Yeah.
And I've just got a feeling he's got something up his sleeve that will surprise people.
And as Marie says in the comments, Clive, we've got Dave. And to be fair, going back to Tuesday night, he was a miss.
I think we might have won the game with Dave in play. But I'd rather have those players that weren't playing in the cup game available for the league game.
Yeah.
Because I think at this stage in our progress, consolidation in this league, in other words, avoiding the dreaded drop, avoiding the Port Vale scenario, is vital to us. Because you can't build easily on the back of a failure, but losing your divisional status. So it's important we do okay this year. Okay was not getting relegated. We're performing way ahead of that. So everybody shouldn't be too despondent about anything to do with the league matters, but we need to invest in the league. And that means sometimes not investing in the cup.
Is there a worry from your perspective, Nick, that what we're not doing at the minute, seemingly in this window, 17 days in as we speak now, is looking towards future building? Because if you go back 2 seasons, that transfer window where we brought in Davies Keeler-Dunn, Lewis Reed, Callum Johnson, a few other, I think we brought in a couple of others as well that sort of stayed with us into that promotion season and help us get over the line. You could clearly see within that window that we were setting ourselves up for the next 18 months. We didn't need to do it last season, hence why we didn't bring Gregory in and pay money for him. We waited. We only brought Tom Nichols in to tide us over, if you like. I expected us to do that again in this window, because looking ahead to what we want to do next season, but we're not seemingly doing that at the minute. We're only bringing one loan player in. Is it a registration worry? Is it too many eggs in one basket? Or do we as a club perhaps not know what the future lies after the end of this season in terms of management going forward?
I think the club as a whole is a little bit surprised about where we are in the league. And I think when we talk about Keeler, Dunn, Kilgore, Reed, they were filling quite obvious glaring gaps in a bit of a squad with holes. And they were very obvious holes. We needed an experienced, strong centre-back. We needed a ball-playing midfielder. We needed this, we needed that, whatever. I think now it's more difficult to see those obvious holes in the squad because we are where we are and we're doing well with the squad we've got. And I think to then get players that are going to take us into the League One playoffs, we'd have to invest heavily. And I don't think the club want to invest heavily in January window because we're not talking League Two sums, are we? You know, you look at God knows how much Birmingham just played for Grant Hanley. You know, players like that.
And that is a fourth choice centre back for them as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Huddersfield signed that Charles from Bolton and players like that are, 6-7 figure players. I don't think we're willing to do that in the window. I think had we have been towards the bottom and towards relegation, I think we probably would have strengthened heavier. But I suppose from a business point of view, we're going well. Do we really need to spend the money if you were John? And Nigel is obviously, as we know, very protective over the money. I imagine his message to John is, I don't really need it.
I think
we as fans would probably think differently, but I think Nigel would be of the opinion, I don't need to spend.
Clough has said on more than one occasion recently that he's happy with his squad
Yeah.
when they're all available, and most of them are now.
Yeah.
He has the luxury of having to pick.
There's not a lot of holes, though, is there? That you go, well, I'd love another striker, I absolutely would, but at what price point are we going to go in on somebody? You know, it's difficult. You don't want to go in someone who's then not good enough for next season. You don't want to go in on somebody who's probably maybe that good this season that it rocks the boat. I think it's the right character as well.
I think it's also quite unfair to presume that the club, and when I say the club, I mean the recruitment side of the club, aren't already doing work for the summer.
I imagine they probably
because they'll be keeping an eye on players as targets all the way through the season.
I think Nick actually hit the nail on the head. When you look back at that transfer window 2 years ago when we brought Kilgore, etc. in, we weren't looking to put a squad together in terms of going forward. We were looking to plug gaps and go forward. This year, we're not looking to plug gaps because, as you've just rightly said there, Clive, Nigel Clough is very happy with what he's got. But this year, what we are doing, Alan, is we're not looking at plugging gaps. We're looking at quantifying for age, compensating for age, because that squad which we've taken forward over the last 2-3 years has reached its peak, and it's probably overperforming its peak at the minute.
I'm saying, when you look at where we are, like Nick says, when you look at where we are in the league, and you can understand Nigel saying that, we don't need anybody else. But I'm sure irons will be in the fire, because we have got an aging squad. Aren't we the oldest squad in the league? In the division?
11 in
yeah,
the
or something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, on Tuesday night, we'd got quite a few older players playing. But when you look at the bench, there was some proper quality on bench, you know what I mean? So it's certainly not doom and gloom, is it?
I think the age replacement work will happen in the summer.
Yeah.
I think when players are on free, I think that's when we'll dabble in the market.
A lot of contracts end in the summer. Very few end in January.
I think Clough will probably say, look, I can get these players in, but I'll do it in the summer for free. I don't need your money now. I think that's what he's saying. I mean, I disagree. I think a striker would be nice.
I don't think we're going to be in the big check situation when it comes to recruitment. What we're looking at is getting players that want to join the club because it's handy for them. They like who they're going to be playing alongside. They like the way the club is owned and managed. And we can pay decent wages at this level.
That's the only little thing which niggles in my brain, though, in terms of we are a fantastic draw for a player at the moment in terms of where the club wants to go, but more critically, how it's managed. And it's that management situation for me, Alan, which I think we need to rectify sooner rather than later. And that's not to put pressure on Nigel Clough, because as we've said time and time again, he'll decide when the time is right. But it just seems at the moment that he's got a little bit more to give. But it's whether or not that little bit more to give includes building up a new squad, because realistically, if we want to progress in the next 2 years to the next level, and by the next level, I mean pushing playoffs, pushing top 2, looking to get promoted, we need a new squad to do it. But has Nigel Clough got it in him, got the desire in him to build a new squad and to take that forward? Or does he go, do you know what? I've built the best that I've got. I'm going to take these players as far as I've got, and that will be, because I think if it's the latter, that's a risky strategy for the owners to take.
I can't see that, because I think there's another Burton. I think there's another Burton in him, definitely. I really do. I think he'll want to take Mansfield as far as he possibly can. And if that means, waiting in the transfer window, however he decides to do it. Nigel's very astute, we know that. So I just think he'll wait. Unless, he needs to force his hand with either research, bad news from that is going to be 2 weeks or so. We'll have to wait and see.
The fact that he's not signing players could actually be an indication he is staying, because if he was going to go, he may as well go, well, I'll just get a couple of players in and have a better season.
Yeah.
But obviously, if he's content, he might be thinking, well, I'm content for now and we'll strengthen in the summer.
I think his body language tells you he's happy in his role at the moment. And I think there's nothing better as a working person than to be happy at work.
Yeah.
And it can't be a money situation with Nigel. I can't imagine that he would want to work in a miserable environment for more money.
I'm not saying stress-free, but there are more stressful jobs out there than Mansfield for Nigel Clough, isn't there? There's a lot more stressful jobs for him than Mansfield.
Promotion has been achieved. The monkey's off his back. No one expects us to rocket forward. We're not a Wrexham. We're expecting to get back-to-back promotion. So the fact we are ahead of where most people would have expected us to be makes for a more pleasant environment for the manager.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Keep your comments coming in. Have your say on your team. Let's go back to one from earlier in the show. Keeley has been in touch to say, Akins did well Tuesday despite Wigan's players wanting his shirt from his back. Matthew Craig did well. I think he should play a little bit higher as he's the ability. Can't wait to see him and Reedy together. I really hope that he doesn't turn out to be one of those players that has a superb debut and then just absolutely plummets. We've seen it so many times before. Ross says, think Flint will end up in a coaching job. I personally think that he thinks that Flint will think he's got another 2 seasons in him, whether that's here or elsewhere. He'll definitely want to play. Ed says, good to see Gale go to Boston. Think he can play at a much higher level. Would rather have Gale on for the last 10 minutes than Wayne. I think that's an opinion, Alan, which a lot of people sort of share, but I'm not surprised to see James Gale go back out. He's linked up with Jimmy Knowles at Boston.
I think that could be a fruitful pair in them too in that league.
It certainly could, and that's all he needed at Solihull. He just had a bit of bad luck in September with an injury and then struggled to get back in the team. I said it at the start of the season, if he can get some goals next season, he'll be a good proposition, whether that's for us or whether that's for us to cash in on him and him to go and get a career elsewhere. That's the key thing. Either we develop him and we play him next season and we build from him, or we develop him to a standard where we can go, right, well, so lots of people are in the market for you. We'll take some money back and recoup that way.
I think it's a bit awkward about Wayne because we haven't really seen a deal of him. For one reason or another, he hasn't played that many games apart from coming on as sub and, the odd game that he has started.
Brings him on now,
scored a couple of goals, hasn't he? But we haven't really seen, he hasn't had a, consistent run of games, like 5, 6, 7. And neither did Nichols, to be fair. So, we haven't really, you can't really make your mind up about Wayne because we haven't seen enough of him. Whereas we know what Gale brings.
Yeah, I think that is the difference. I think with Ben Wayne though, Nick, it's again, I don't want to read too much into it, but you can, as the years have gone on, you can sort of read the Nigel Clough mantra. When you bring him Stephen McLaughlin on to play up front ahead of him, there's something there, albeit it was late on in the game and we're perhaps looking to be a little bit more defensive, but he did not sit in a defensive position. Even Jordan Bowery went up front.
Yeah, I think the writing was on the wall for me, the game that Oates came back, and Nigel Clough basically said he trained the day before, I think. Or was it, when Gregory came back, one of the two.
Yeah,
and
Gregory,
he took Wayne off the bench.
Yeah.
And said, Gregory's only trained for 20 minutes. He's only fit for about the last 10 minutes, and Wayne didn't even make the bench.
Yeah.
I don't think the club are particularly impressed with Wayne.
No, I think that the only things Clough asks of a sub is you come on and you make an impact, and he just hasn't. Even when he's come on, he's just too lightweight, isn't he? And if you read into what Clough's interview said, he talked about he had to choose between Wayne and Macca, and he said that he wanted a bit more presence up front. And that, for me, tells you all you know about
if you're going a left wing back has got more presence than an international striker, then
for me that tells you everything you need to know. And at that point, just terminate and move on.
Yeah,
I don't know whether we can. We maybe are tied into the season. Normally, you can terminate early during the transfer window, but
it seems like
if we can't, then whatever. But it just seems to me it's just a waste of a body, isn't it? I'd have had Gale over Wayne.
Yeah, 100%.
Because if you're going to only play 20 minutes, why not keep somebody homegrown and get rid of the loan?
It does seem a little bit of a frustrating thing and a strange thing, but a lot of clubs are recalling players to send them out elsewhere. We recalled James Gale to send him out elsewhere because he weren't playing at Solihull. And again, that's how we've landed up with Matthew Craig, because he was at Barnsley at the start of this season and, recalled by them, by his parent club because he wasn't playing enough games, and Tottenham have gone, right, go to Mansfield. But again, that could backfire on us a little bit because there's perhaps another level of expectancy that is coming here to play games.
I'm just saying, well, I'm sure he will do. I'm sure he'll play a fair amount of games. I mean, we've got another 23, whatever games it is left. So everybody, the squad's going to be utilised. You know, whether it's Lewis, whether it's Craig, whether it's Quinn, it doesn't matter who it is, really. The midfield, we've got plenty to choose from, so it will chop and change.
I think it's all about finding that wriggle room as well. Lee in the comments has asked, is Craig 21 and does that take squad registration, or is that Craig in and Nichols out? Now, I'll be 34 tomorrow. Thanks for asking. I don't actually know whether he's 21 or not.
I think he is.
So does
that... tells me somewhere in the back of my mind, I think he is.
So does that mean he doesn't require a registration place then?
Know.
Because I really don't know how those rules work. I'd love someone to actually do the digging and find out. Because if it doesn't mean that he takes a registration place, Clive, that actually means we've got space for one more because we've sent Nichols out.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I think I've got it in my mind. He's only 20.
Yeah.
But anyway, we know a little bit about a lot of things and know very little about some others. And
Isn't that always the way, though? Isn't that always the way?
You know, I think we can overanalyze these things. At the end of the day, Clough is the guy that makes the decisions. He has his view of the world, and I'm afraid that whatever we say and whatever the crowd say, no one's really going to influence what Clough does.
That's the beauty of him, I think.
Well, I think so, and there's very little to criticise this year. And I have to say that in previous seasons we found reasons to criticise Clough on his substitutions, for instance, timing of them and what have you, and playing square pegs in round holes, sometimes through necessity, and the other times through habit. We've got past that now. I have to say that we're in a better place than I'm repeating at times. We're in a better place than we expected to be. Let's just be happy about that. Let's not torment ourselves being expected to win every game. If we don't win against Wickham on Saturday, it's not the end of the world.
No, they'll have only ruined my birthday. But I'll let them off. They're a good.
How can your birthday be ruined when we brought you a present?
I know. We'll dig into that later on. That's elevated. It'd just be the cherry on top of the very nice cake. Would be 3 points tomorrow. But let's go back to all things squad wise in a minute. I do feel a little bit sorry for Nigel Clough. Obviously, we don't know the situation that is going off at the moment. You can look at certain things and come up with conclusions which may or not be right. I'm referring here to George Williams. Obviously, we're blessed at the moment in terms of defensive positions, so it's not a massive issue that he's not involved. But if we were struggling for players and registration places, you would have to look at that situation and wonder whether or not we need to just not register him, carry on paying him and support him, of course. But you perhaps have to look at if somebody comes available maybe in the end of the window, Nick, whether or not you take that registration out and just give him the support that he clearly needs, because he's been involved once since the death of his friend, the ex MK Dons man.
Yeah, and it was a great game. He played well as well.
He did, yeah. And we were all going, it's back.
Yeah, it's such a strange one, isn't it? And I think that complicates matters, doesn't it? The personal issues and the injuries as well. We know he's not going to fit, has he? I think we'd all like a comment from Clough, but if it is personal, then we have no right to expect it. Clearly, the question's not being asked, so there is a reason why that question's not being asked. Yeah. And if it's personal, then we should give him all the support in the world. And I guess we maybe have the luxury that we can leave a spot open for him at the minute. I think his performance has certainly earned it. I think our frustration is, well, if you're not going to play him and he is fit to play and happy to play, then let him go and play somewhere else. Yeah, because he's a damn good footballer, I think, and he deserves certainly to play.
But we don't know. We don't know.
So we're just guessing. But if he needs the support, the club should stick by him and do everything.
I do have to say that is one thing that Nigel Clough and Mansfield Town Football Club do very, very well, and certainly have over the last couple of years. The prime example, Alan, is the whole situation with Rhys Oates. Pulls up with an injury on New Year's Day, pretty much out for the entirety of the year. In fact, it took a whole year, didn't it, for him to get a year and a day for him to get from start to start. Many other clubs would look at that and go, look, he's finished. He's never going to play at that level again. We'll pay up his contract and we'll get somebody else in. But Nigel Clough has gone, no, I'm determined to rehab him. I'm determined to work with him. He is very much part of my plans. Alfie Kilgore, the same. So many players that he does that with. And I think that's another tick box of why we set ourselves on a different level to other clubs.
Yeah, I would agree. I couldn't agree more because I mean, it's a well-known fact. Reece Oates is one of my favourite players, same as George Maris. But fair play to Nigel. You know, he looks after him. He'll put his arm around somebody when they need it, and if they need a bit of a telling off, he'll do that as well.
The only thing I would say is if it's and I'm not talking just about Mansfield Town now, but if a player has a long-term injury, obviously going to be a year out or whatever, there ought to be facilities to deregister him, with leaving the door open to put him back on again when eventually gets past his injury. At the moment, we just have to tie up the space, don't we, by keeping Kilgore on and keeping Oates.
I guess you have to make a decision based on 6 months worth, don't you? In January, you decide, is he going to play before June?
Yeah.
And then in September, you have to decide, is he going to play before January, I guess.
It's the same situation with Callum McDonald. I'm really surprised he's not gone out.
I know, that's
I
weird, wasn't it?
expected, like, literally 1 minute past midnight on New Year's Day, Callum Johnson joins.
What's he doing, Callum McDonald?
Not Callum Johnson, sorry. Callum McDonald, sorry.
He scored this week.
Sorry.
But yeah,
Sorry.
Callum McDonald, like, what? Is he just training, like, he can't play?
I don't know.
So what's he doing?
He plays every now and again in the 21s, doesn't he? But
Surely he wants to go.
yeah, he must do.
Unless
Unless
he's
he's just
on a wage where no one else wants him.
Just on the subject of Johnson, did you see the goal he scored?
No.
It was a bit of a fluke, really. He tripped over his bottom lip and headed it in.
That's a different Johnson.
That is a different Johnson.
Different Johnson, indeed. Oh dear. No,
Daniel.
I would expect something to happen with Callum McDonald, but again, it just depends
He's the
over who he
forgotten
wants
man,
him.
isn't he?
He is the
We've got
forgotten
quite a
man.
few forgotten men,
And
haven't we,
again,
that training ground?
We don't know, do we?
We have 9 subs for the FA Cup. Didn't get on the bench, did he?
No.
Because he could get on the bench, but I don't know.
I think he's from the ground staff now, isn't he? Doesn't he do some work on Bishop Street?
Assistant kit man.
By the way, I
Maybe
went
he's
down
up in St
yesterday to
Pepper.
Dickens when I could hear jackhammers and all sorts happening at Bishop Street. So some work's taking place.
It
For all
really
those
is.
doubters,
Yeah, it is.
They've just got a soundtrack playing over the PA
Yeah.
of diggers and construction work going on.
if it was over our PA, you wouldn't hear it.
Quickly followed by the jackhammer has been exchanged for, and the golden digger. The golden digger was in the 38th minute. Alan, it's 48.
You think he'd let it go, wouldn't you?
I don't think he ever will.
I'll just add it to my little book.
No problem.
Alan, this is.
I mean, this guy never makes any mistakes, does he?
No, not like I just got the complete player's name wrong, is it? So there you go. Right, anything else you want to talk about Mansfield Town-wise, please get it in the comments and have your say on your team. We'll be right back after these. There we go. You're back with the Mansfield Matters Podcast, the show for the fans, by the fans. As always, get involved in the comments and have your say on your team. Anything Stags related you want to talk about, please do get involved. 23 games of the season left to go. We are about to kick off for the second half of the campaign. And if we can match the first half of the season, Clive, we'll be in absolute delirium land, won't we?
Yeah. All we really wanted to be safe. So let's keep reminding ourselves that. And we're probably only 4, maybe 5 games of 5 wins away from being there. So I think we're going to enjoy the down slope.
Yeah,
so we've peaked at the 23 games, Mark. We've got 23 games to glide path into next season.
I think as long as we can touch wood, Alan, sort of stay injury free for a few players and not lose 1 or 2 players, that's the key thing. We'll be absolutely fine. And what we are going to do for the league as well is we're going to make it more competitive. We're going to make it difficult for teams to come to one call. They're not going to fancy us coming to their place either, because I think we've definitely surprised a few people in this first half of the season.
Yeah, I would agree. 23 games, and look at the points we've got. Who'd have thought that? So like Clive alluded to, they've got possibly another 5 wins. It might not even take that many. And then once that 50 points, or I've always said 50 points. 50 points is a bit of a benchmark for me. If we can hit 50 points, then you can slightly relax. You know what I mean? I don't mean in the game, and we'll still be playing like we should be playing, but the onus of going down will be off us. And did you? I happened to watch Wrexham last night, and they were talking to Ben Tozer, and the lady who was doing the commentary, introducing afterwards, she says Wrexham's got 3, tough games coming up. They were Crawley, somebody else, and Mansfield Town. Bentosa said straight away, "Oh, winnable games they are." Bentosa, who is he?
Where is he now? Is it Forest Green? They're trying to throw the way out of the conference, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, what a drop down that is for him. Did anyone, on the side note as well, I want to give a couple of shout outs. There's a couple of podcasts out there which are really good. Firstly, from the club, who do a lot of stuff. They did one with Skip the other week. Really, really insightful. Great to hear some of the stories about his time with us as well. If you want more stories on that, though, head to our YouTube page where there's the full evening with from a couple of years ago now, isn't it? When him, Richo, and Andy White came back for Stake Stories Live, and it was interesting to hear him talk about what Adam Murray's doing at the minute as well down at Eastbourne, which was really good. And then the other one was Life of a Kitman, which is the 2 kitmen at Swindon do a podcast and a YouTube channel, and they had Ollie Clark on this week, which was really interesting. What I found quite funny about that was that according to Ollie Clark, at the end of last season with the promotion, straight off the bat, the chairman transferred 90 grand into his bank account. Imagine trying to explain that if you were buying a new house.
Yeah, hope you told the tax man if they were listening.
Very good.
Did you say I said is one of his favourite?
Need to remember to talk into that, Al. Come on, you should know this by now. 38 minutes. 38th minute.
One of his favourite kids was the Mansfield one.
Yes. Ironically, we are in the 48th minute of the show now as well.
Right then.
That's it, absolutely. So go and watch those if you've not watched them.
On the subject of kits, is it? I'm right in thinking there's another kit coming out.
No. What? When for? Next season?
Isn't there one designed already or being designed?
Yeah, there'll be all 3. There'll be 3 new ones next season.
Is that
Castore Way.
Yeah, every season for 5
season
years.
deal. I think there'll be 3. I think there'll be 15 kits.
Because I mean, I noticed these are all half price on the Castore side.
Yeah. They'll bulk them and then they'll sell them and then they'll start again.
Yeah, makes your website designing a bit of a ball, doesn't it? Because you got 5 new pages.
Yeah, they're that one wasn't very easy to do. I can tell you that much. But yeah, there'll be 3 new ones, I think, and 3 new goalkeeper kits if you want to buy your kids 6 kits every season,
which some people
a piece.
We know
some people
will do that.
Absolutely, some people will. How is the kit search going in 2025? Have we added any more yet? Have we got a number that we're on?
Well, yeah, I did finally count, and other than my kids' ones, I've got 189.
Match worn or general?
There's probably about 10 replicas in there, something like that. And then I've got all my kids' shirts. So there is over 200. My dad told me I needed to count, so I did count. I've added the Richie Barker one, the Adam Smith one. I'm picking up another 2 this weekend.
Did you see the Poku one?
Yeah, he offered me that before he put it up for the general populace. He asked me if I wanted it, but I'd already got a few of those. But yeah, there's hopefully 2 more coming this weekend. I've got Jason Pearcey looking through his loft because he thinks he's got a shirt. Yeah, I'm just messaging loads of old players all the time, relatives of old players, anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a few more. Generally trying to get the 80s section of the website finished because it's nearly done.
What's the response been so far to it?
Yeah, it's been really nice. It's just nice for people to see it and look at it, people to enjoy it.
Was that all grey kit because you haven't got the data on?
Yeah, so if they're grey, it just means I haven't. It's a placeholder.
Because I don't ever remember playing in all grey.
I bet we have.
I played in Earl Grey once.
Yeah. No, we drank Earl Grey once. That's different.
But yeah, so it's been really, really positive and just nice for people to look at it and hopefully learn something.
And that's mansfieldtownshirts.co.uk.
Cheers.
Oh, nailed it. There you go.
£5. Every time he says that, I have to pay him £5.
You do. Mansfieldtownshirts.co.uk.
Sponsored by.
Rake it in, lads. Rake it in. Yeah. mansfieldtownshirts.co.uk.org/38th minute.
Can I also say that the lad on loan hasn't got a shirt sponsor?
No, he has not.
For them prices.
No, yeah.
If you do a deal with us, I do.
Now, see, this is interesting because Mansfield Matters have actually sponsored a player's shirt before. And this is why I'm hesitant to do it. It was a loanee. It was Nicky Jose who had a great debut. We decided to sponsor him. Then he was shit.
Well, that's a risk you take.
And I do believe that if anybody goes out, he will probably take the sponsorship deal.
And Tom Nichols has gone out, so that it will probably go to them. Yeah,
I think they get the chance. They get asked, "Do you want to keep Nichols' shirt or do you want to swap it?"
Yeah. If it does come available and they want to give it us for a knockdown price, which includes some very free not so subtle advertising on this podcast, then more than open to talk.
Yeah.
However, we probably will have to have like a fist fight who gets to keep the shirt at the end.
If they do,
Because this guy's got a shirts emporium and he'll be chasing us down.
I've got enough.
So we'll have to wait and see. Right, I suppose we should have a little look at Wycombe tomorrow, shouldn't we? Before we do podcast predictions and play the jingle, please, can somebody remind me at the end of the month to publish the full table? Because I know I keep saying on the podcast that I will do it, but I forget. Life gets in the way. I'm an old man. I can't remember stuff. So please, people, tell me to share the full table at the end of January. Right. Wycombe. Managerless Wycombe, Clive. A bit of a shock. Matt Bloomfield, club legend, one club man as well. There from being a player all the way up to Luton in the Premier League. 20 years he's been there. Came as a bit of a shock, and it might have a bit of an effect on the pitch tomorrow.
I actually wonder why he's gone to Luton, because I would guess he merited attention from other clubs as well. But it's his life; he makes his own decisions on these.
Premier League money, I imagine. Well, they were last season.
Well, parachute money.
They'll have some money.
Might be where he lives, local.
Well, I don't suppose he'll have to uproot his family to do it. That's
probably.
But either way, I'm not sure whether it's a good or a bad thing to play a team that's just lost its manager, because they're trying to prove to other people that they deserve their place. I mean, Wycombe isn't a pauper anymore. They've got a very well
money out there as well this time.
Yeah. £22 million on somebody.
Yeah.
So I don't think it makes a lot of difference. In all fairness, I think we play what's in front of us always. We shouldn't fear anybody. We shouldn't fear Wycombe. I think they'll give us a game.
Well, let's find out how we think we will get on by doing this. So, can you be the master or an embarrassing disaster? In this guessing game, there's a simple aim. It's outguess the rest and be the best. Win, lose or draw. Do you know the score? Who will be your hero to make sure you don't score zero? Yes, it may be fiction, but this is Podcast Predictions. Podcast predictions.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Time for podcast predictions then. Wycombe tomorrow night, of course. The Exeter game, which we predicted for on the last podcast, got postponed because of the FA Cup game. So those predictions don't count. So when the Exeter game does get rearranged, you will need to have to re-predict for that game. And that means if you, for example, Alan, you were asking me off air then, if you picked, this is your prediction for Exeter, win 2-1 Bailey Cargill, usually you can't do the same prediction twice, but because that game was null and void, you can. And on that bombshell, let's start with you. Wycombe at home tomorrow, please.
Exactly the same. Mansfield 2-1 win, Bailey Cargill.
There we go. I knew you were going to do that. That's why you asked me the bloody question, isn't it? Clive.
I'm going to predict the score will be what it should have been when we played at their ground. 0-0. Kill goal.
Nick, what are you going to go for?
I'm going to go with 1-1 Aaron Lewis.
Oh, okay. I am going to go, it's got to be a win, birthday win. I'm going to go for a 2-1 win.
38th minute.
And I was going to, yeah, we're not doing that. That's next year. I was going to go for Dave, but I'm not in 100% that he will play. So I'm going to go with my namesake. I'm going to go with Matthew Craig. So I'm going to put him in there. He is on the podcast predictions list, by the way, now as well. So you can now add him if you want him to be your fancy captain for the game. And as always, if you want to play along with podcast predictions, the link that you need is in the description, and you must submit your guess no later than 1 hour and 1 minute before kickoff of your chosen game. So that's it. And please somebody remind me to do the updated table at the end of the month. Right, we're going to do some games in a minute, but obviously, I don't know if you've noticed, but it is my birthday tomorrow.
Is it?
So, yeah.
34 tomorrow.
34th minute, Al. 34th minute.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. I've got some lovely presents from the guys here, which is fantastic. One of which was this fantastic mug and the bear. Alan, do you want to pass me the bear? It's been hiding behind your head for for the
I thought it
show.
had been called Bowery.
No, well, you see,
Bowery the Bear.
See, this is an interesting suggestion because what I'm going to, and I was purposely going to do this. I am going to put it out there that everyone should come up with a name for the bear from the podcast on the podcast, which has to be Stags related, and everyone at home can vote for what the podcast bear will be. So
Barry Foster the Bear.
So have a little think, and I'll come back to you later on of what you want the bear to be. If you've got any suggestions at home in the comments, what do you want to name the podcast bear, which will sit on the set for the rest of the time? So yeah, let us know what you think that will be. I've got some lovely cards from everyone as well, including Alan doing what Alan always does, which is do a little bit of a ditty. Now I could read this, but it's nowhere near as good if it's not read from the man himself. So I'm going to give you that. You've got a microphone in your hands. You've got a microphone in your hands. Alan Wilson.
The man, the myth. No, this is not me. This is you.
Well, let me get some cash out so I can pay you for this line, yeah?
The man, the myth, the legend. He's the commentator supreme. And as the Mansfield Matters host, he really is the cream. Home and away, following the Stags. And sometimes results are hard to take. It's a good job we are not playing Bradford, because there would definitely be no cake.
Lovely reference there, Al. Love that.
This excellent podcast host of ours has an idea of a game and took it. And it's a firm favourite of ours now. It's called What's in Craig's Bucket.
I was wondering where that was going.
So all the best for your birthday, Craig, from Clive, Alan, Nick, Cam, Nathan, and silence. Wait for the pause. Oh, and Jim.
I thought I was going to arrive with and your favourite player, Dave.
You know, Alan, I look up to you in so many ways because you're taller than me. But, and I've been inspired by your poetic prowess.
You've not wrote one yourself, have you?
I haven't. It's bucket related.
Well, he has been scribbling something down.
I have been wondering what he's been doing.
Well, it's nowhere near as long and lucid. It's just as couldn't find your hidden thing, so I shouted out, "Oh fuck it!" If I was better at Craig's quiz, I'd have found it in his bucket.
And that's taken you 59 minutes, has it?
That's been doing that for a fortnight.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it. Well, as it's a party podcast of sorts, Cloud's wrecking the set now.
Your muff's gone AWOL.
His muff's gone AWOL. Just tighten it up at the side. We are going to play a special game of What's in Craig's Bucket. But first, we do need to go to the random game generator.
Content loading. Selecting game. Game selected. Players stand by.
System malfunction.
The wonderful world of Wilson.
Craig Priest has been exchanged for Alan Wilson. My favourite line in that is Craig Priest has been exchanged for Alan Wilson. An exchange that happened because Alan has kindly provided the quiz tonight, because I received 1,473 letters of complaints about me creating quizzes, all like signed the bottom.
Me.
Pive
From
corking.
Edwinstowe P.O. box.
An Edwinstowe P.O. box. So Alan's written the quiz tonight. So here's how it's going to work. On all throughout the series, we have a tally of people who've won games. Clive's got 5 points. Alan's got 6. Nick is romping ahead on 9. Jim's got 2. Cam's got 5. And somehow Nathan, who's appeared on one podcast, has also got 2.
Can I say Jim's probably got more than 2? They're still coming down the line.
Yeah, they're still coming down the line. Yeah, that's very, very true. So this is how it's going to work. Clive and Nick, you're playing for your points. I'm playing for everybody else's points today if I win the quiz. Alan, it's over to you with the quiz.
Is there a theme,
So take it away.
No, there's no particular theme. It's just 10 questions. There are a possible 11 points because there's one that's a bonus point. Question 1. Who was the first footballer to be knighted?
Ooh.
Now
Okay.
then.
Right, okay.
One for Clive.
Why?
Ageist.
Oh, it's before the Second World War, is it?
That's question 1. Have you all got that?
Yeah.
I've gone for Cigar Jellyman.
Right. Good
Is it not
choice.
Neil Mackenzie? Is the answer not Neil Mackenzie? 'Cause it
No.
should be.
Question 2. How many lanes has an Olympic-sized swimming pool have?
Okay. Yeah. Sure you don't want me to write the rest of this quiz, Clive? Yeah.
No, I'm happy with this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You see, by now, you'd have said, and how many, and how many buckets of water
How
does
does
it
it take to fill one lane?
There is milliliter. How many?
Write that down.
Question 3. Which of the 2 Bristol football clubs is the oldest?
Okay.
Basically, City or Rovers.
Yeah. Not athletic, is it?
Question 4, and this is where you could get the bonus point. Which year did Jenson Button win his first Grand Prix? And for a bonus point, which one was it?
Just to say, if Alan, Jim, Nathan, and Cam are wanting any points from this quiz, good luck.
You shot it.
Question 5. What sporting weapon fires a quarrel?
Quarrel.
What sporting weapon
I'll give
fires a quarrel?
Which sporting? I can think of a few sporting
Yeah.
weapons.
Yeah.
We had one refereeing on Tuesday night.
Yeah. Wow. Oh.
Quarrel.
A quarrel.
Right.
Quarrel.
Okay. Yeah.
Question 6. What are zippers to an American footballer? What are zippers to an American footballer?
Yeah. Zippers. An interesting one. I've purposely left the comments off, so anyone that's commenting with these answers we can't see.
God help you if you are.
I know.
Question 7. What does the TT stand for in the Isle of Man TT race?
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Tommy Trinder.
Question 8. If you're playing snooker, if you pot all the coloured balls, how many points would you get?
It's a maths question.
At the end, you know, when you start with the yellow, the green, the brown, the blue, the pink, and the black, how many points?
I've got to do math. I'm doing maths.
Got it.
Right. Question 9. What is the nickname?
Hang on. I'm still
sorry.
doing maths. Hang on.
Just write down 46.
Then you're wrong.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, go on. Yeah, go on.
Question 9. What's the nickname of Bolton Wanderers?
That's the first one I've got.
Is it, it's not Sheepshaggers.
I would have thought so.
The tough sheets.
That's not what I've got. And question 10. Who won the BBC Sports Personality of the 20th Century? Now think about that one.
Is it?
Extremely famous.
It's not Judy Murray then, is it?
Bobby Davro. Extremely famous. Sports personality of the 20th century.
20th century.
Bolton aren't the piglets, are they?
Come on, you piglets.
You piglets.
And the last one is an anagram.
Yeah, you can stuff that up your nose.
If you want to write these
The letters down. Yeah, go on
and then
then.
I'll give you the clue.
Go on.
A C E S I T
Oh, for God's sake.
G R
Oh,
R P.
you can piss off.
That's it, Tigger.
I've
Now-
got it.
Yeah,
I've got it.
I'm gonna say, and the clue is
Shit gripper.
I
the
know
clue.
this one.
The clue
I've
is
got 1 point, guys.
the
1 point.
clue is well known to Stags fans?
Or maybe it's not that one then.
Do you have Stephen Gerrard?
Yeah.
Well known to Stags
I
fans.
put Michael Merriman. Is it not Mez?
No.
Okay. Right, Alan. Thanks so much for your quiz. Let's go through the answers, shall we?
Right. Question 1. Sir Stanley Matthews.
Hey.
Question 2.
8.
8.
Get in.
What was the question?
Oh, what was the
About
question?
the lanes.
Oh,
Lanes
yeah.
in swimming.
Yeah. I had a guess.
Question 3. Which Bristols? It's Rovers.
Yes.
Got that wrong.
Got that.
Question 4, which is a possible bonus point. He won his first one in 2006.
Yes.
And it was the Hungarian.
Oh, I got that wrong. Can I get a point for 2006 then?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
What sporting weapon fires a quarrel? It's a crossbow.
Yes.
I got both.
Get
Can I have a
in.
point for both?
Yes. Well done.
Yeah.
What are zippers to an American footballer?
Lighters.
I put boots.
Tracksuits.
Scars.
The skid marks on pants.
That's
Scott.
the one.
Oh my God, guys! I've got a couple of zippers.
Can you clean my zipper?
Guys, clean my
Scars.
What, like scars?
Scars. I
You
think.
see, you can take the piss out of the Americans, but you know, in Australia, the leading brand of adhesive parcel intake is called Durex. But why? I mean, come on, do they not know what Durex is?
Obviously not.
Question
dear.
7. What does the TT stand for?
Is it two twats?
Tourist Trophy.
Oh, I've got the
Tour
tourist
title.
tournament. Can I have half a point?
No. If you put all the colours in snooker, you
27.
would have 27.
Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. If you put all the colours in snooker,
Yellow, green,
is red
brown.
not a colour anymore?
I said at the end, if you heard me, I said yellow, green, brown, blue, pink, and black.
The
I've
no-
been swizzled here.
No, the red is never
27.
categorised as a colour and snooker. Coloured balls are yellow,
27.
green,
Well, in
brown.
this case, I think that 43 identifies as 27 on the Alan Wilson logic. So I'm having a point.
Question 9. What was the nickname of Bolton Wanderers? The Trotters.
What did you say? Piglet.
I've got
Piglets.
trotters, though. I'm not being flippant.
I've got trotters.
And question 10. Who won the BBC Sports
It's
Personality of the 20th century?
No, Hamid Ali, isn't it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Mohammed Ali.
Hang on, do I get half a point? 'Cause I put Sir Mo Farah, so I've got Mo.
I'll put
That
Moeen
counts.
Ali, the cricketer.
That counts, right?
No.
Mo.
Tell him no, Alan.
I
No.
didn't.
Shocking behaviour.
And the ACESIITGRRP.
I think I've got this as well. It's not me, is it, by any chance?
Correct.
So
I thought it was very apt with
So-
you being 34 tomorrow.
just
Thanks.
corset grip. Not
No.
He's my fullback, Lindsay. Corset grip.
I can tell you,
He's got a zipper.
I scored 4 out of 12.
I got 4.
7.
Oh,
well done.
I
See-
thought you didn't like my quiz.
There you go.
Oh, no,
Yeah. So, Clive, what you do is you get that marker pen from there, you give yourself a little tick on that board, you see.
And that goes, that's the end of the quiz.
It
On
is.
the back of the team
Well done,
sheet.
Alan.
On the back of the team sheet.
Well done, Alan. A
Thank
nice
you so
simple
much.
quiz.
Yes, love that. Because we don't have them. Right. time-
Rippers and trotters.
As it's supposedly a celebration-ish podcast, I suppose we've got room for one more game, right?
No.
Content loading. Selecting game.
Game selected.
Players stand by. What's in Craig's bucket?
It's a trotter.
What's in Corset Grip's bucket? I can tell you that for once, there's currently nothing in Craig's bucket. That's because rather than me put an item in the bucket, I've asked you each to bring one item each in. So I get to play the game 3 times essentially, and we're playing for points as per. However, I do wonder whether it's Freddo's, because I just want to draw your attention to this lovely bag which Clive brought my presents and card in earlier, which I'm very grateful for. He's also stuffed it full with sort of
Lilac shredded paper.
shredded paper. Which, did you do that yourself?
No.
Who did the lilac shredded
The
paper?
Lilac Shredding Company.
Well, what did lilac shredded
They
company?
sponsor today's episode.
Who do sponsor these episodes?
If you want lilac and shredded paper for your birthday occasion, ring up Brian at the Violet Purple Shredded
Bert
Paper
Bowery.
Company.
Bert
Bert
Bowery's lilac paper shredded stuff.
that's the beer.
Clive loves a Freddo, and buried within this lilac paper shredded by Bert Bowery of lilac paper shredded company.co.uk, there are 1 million Freddos. So I'm going to look forward to diving through that lilac paper and pulling lilac paper bits from everywhere for the next year.
It's
He's only leased that, so he has got to take that back in the morning.
Oh,
It's not made in this country at all. It's imported from the Far East from a company called Bang Bang Shred.
That's Bang Bang Fat's company, is it?
Not
dear.
the right honourable Mr. Bang Bang Fat.
Right, Admiral Mr. Bang Bang Fat.
Bang Bang Shred.
Oh dear. Right. So, Clive, you won Alan's quiz, so you get to decide who puts their item into Craig's empty bucket first. Who's putting their item in first?
Well, as I haven't got one, I'm going to leave myself till last.
Okay, right. Yeah, great.
I have finally realised that there is a hole in the bucket.
There is a hole. I wasn't lying. There is a hole in the
Drainage
bucket.
case
Yeah,
you put anything wet in.
yeah, absolutely. Right. So,
I'll start. Mine's in the bag.
okay,
So
right.
you can't see it, but it's in the bucket.
Okay, don't forget to use the microphone.
I will.
Okay, so
Hang on, I've got something.
Okay,
I
well,
need some.
We're not putting pocket fluff in the bucket.
No, no.
use the
I need obscurity.
conceal in the bag. Right, we will start with once Clive's got whatever he's getting out of his wallet.
It's a £50 note.
We win that.
I've won it.
We win that.
It's in there.
There we go. We'll
Leave it in there, because otherwise you know what it is.
okay, I will do. Yeah, I can't see it. Right, so 3 questions each, and then we guess. Clive, you'll start, then Nick, then me, and we'll do it that way. So,
Can I understand? Are there 3 prizes in there then, or 4?
no,
No prize.
there's no prizes.
No.
It's points. That's prizes.
So there are 4 items.
The
in the
three.
bucket.
There's 3 items. There will be 3 items.
We're putting them in
One at a time.
One at a time.
Yeah.
So what do I
Doing
need?
it chronologically.
Yeah.
You'll go first.
We're playing What's in
Mine-
Craig's bucket 3 times, and you all get to put something in the bucket.
All right. So we're starting with
Yeah.
that one now.
Yeah, starting with
Alan's
Alan's.
bucket
Yeah.
now.
So, Clive, you get to ask your question first, then
Okay.
Nick, then me for 3 times, then we guess.
Okay.
Sorry, which right. Off we go.
Mr. Wilson, is it Stags related?
Yes.
Can you wear it?
You could have done.
Oh, could have done. Could you wear it on the top half of your body?
Yes.
Is it?
You can't ask, is it? You'll wait to the end, don't you?
No, I
Go on.
say,
Go on.
is it? No, that would.
Oh, no, I thought you were going to guess. Sorry.
No, I
Yeah.
wasn't going to guess.
Sorry.
I was like, does it form part of Stag's kit?
Yes, it did do.
I've fed you the winning line here.
No, you haven't. Is it an item that was manufactured or worn in the last 5 years?
Nick with
There or thereabouts.
Mansfield
I
Town
don't need
shirts.
an exact year, but is
Mansfield
it
Town
more than
shirts.co.uk.
I don't know. A bit older than that,
Right,
I think.
Is it bigger than? No, let me. I'm going to change that.
Personal questions not allowed.
Would you wear it below the shoulders?
Is it a boob tube?
I've never heard that phrase before.
It would be below the shoulders as well as.
Right. Okay.
That was below the shoulders, that.
Yeah.
I'm going to use that phrase at work. That was,
Okay.
that was well below the shoulders, that was.
Clive, last question.
You've thrown me a bit there.
He thought it was above the shoulders, he did.
Would there be in a Stag's team a lot of these?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. When you say you could have worn them, does that mean they're damaged in some way?
Not damaged.
Oh, okay.
I've got it.
Oh,
I've got it.
so I'm
It's a
left with
corner flag.
I'm left with the final question. Would this item be the item? Would it be the top layer of items?
Yes.
Okay. Right.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are we guessing now?
Yeah. Clive, you guess first. Yeah.
I'm going to guess it's a training top.
Nick.
I'm really struggling. Is it a jacket? Well, not a playing item, a jacket.
I am going to say it's a commemorative shirt from the COVID season, the one which we never worn with everyone's names on it. Alan Wilson, what's in the bucket?
A pair of pants.
Who's the
Corner
closest?
You know,
What?
There he is.
It's the shirt bear.
It's the shirt bear.
Now, what
So it
season
wasn't
was
damaged.
that? It was,
2003.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
Right, that's not damaged, is it?
No.
You couldn't wear it, could you?
2003 when Jensen Button won the Belgian Grand Prix at Spa.
2006, it was Hungary.
Yeah.
My old lad, bless him.
Oh,
There he is.
Alan Wilson's got his old lad out on the podcast. Who would have thought that?
Daily Mail headline. Mansfield Town PA Ganser gets his lad out on podcast.
Put it away.
We already talked about Johnson earlier. We don't need any more.
Love that. Right, Nick.
Put it
Do
away.
you want me to
Time
put?
to put your item in the bucket. Everyone's looking away. Nick's
It's in the
doing some
bucket and it's
suits.
under the table.
Right, okay. So this time, Alan, you'll go first. I'll go second, and then Clive, you'll go third. 3 questions each
Goodly
again.
there.
Let's find out what's in Nick's bucket, shall we? Alan
Hello.
Wilson,
Hello.
take it away.
Is it edible?
No.
Is it wearable?
Yes.
Would my nipples be visible if I wore it?
Where's this quiz,
If you wore nothing but this garment, and without seeing your location of your nipples, Clive, yes, they would be. If they're in the usual spot, then yes, they would be.
I was thinking if it was socks.
Depends where you wear it, doesn't it? You staple them on. Yeah, if everything is in the right place, then yes, they would be visible. If everything's in the right place.
Visible
I
dick.
can't remember what's been asked now.
Question 2.
Correct.
Would you be able to wear these?
Yes.
I've just not looked. I asked
Yes,
that.
That was
yes.
the first answer.
I asked that, didn't I? So,
Yeah.
Well, he said, can you wear them?
yeah, so you can have another one. Yeah, yeah. That's what I mean. We forgot because Clive spoke about his nipples and we forgot.
He threw me with a nipple. And on that bombshell.
Good night.
Would you wear it on the lower half of your body?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Would this item that you wear on the lower half of your body be the top layer which the 8,000 fans could see?
Yes. Yes. Depending on weather conditions, yes.
Oh, depending on weather conditions. Okay.
And who was wearing said item?
Right. Okay. Right. Yeah.
Would I normally acquire these in a pair?
There's a bit of dual meaning to the word pair, but in the description of it, yes.
Alan, last round of questions.
Would they keep the bottom half warm?
Yes, part of it, yes.
Tea cozy.
Yes, part of your bottom half, yes.
Is this item specific to one particular player within the team?
Yes. Maybe not in the way you think, but yes.
Are we guessing now?
You've got one last question, then we guess. Yeah. Yeah. That's one last question.
Is this item the same colour as the shorts that the club wear?
Yes.
Right, go on then. Alan, you'll guess first.
Well, after that last question, I'm going to pair of socks.
I am going to go.
Club socks, obviously, Mansfield socks.
I am going to go for referees' socks.
Jockstrap.
Socks. Referees' socks.
Whistle pouch.
Yeah. Clive, what's your guess?
Tights.
What, Nick? What's in your bucket?
In my bucket is a pair of Davis Keeler shorts. Now, I said the dual meaning when it said, do you acquire these in a pair?
Yeah, it's like a
There
pair
is
of
a dual
trousers,
meaning
isn't
to
it?
wear a pair. They are a pair of shorts. So we've got Keeler Dunn shorts.
Well done, Nick.
So the pair is a bit of a. When you
Yeah,
said
well
it's worn by one player on the pitch,
Yeah.
well, it is because these are his, but
Yeah.
it's not.
Yeah. See, my
So that's
thought.
what, and I said
I
that's
was
not
gonna.
fair.
Yeah. That's why I was going. Like I was like trying to go goalkeeper or referee or something. So, well done.
And your nipples would be very
Very
visible.
visible, yeah.
Very, very visible
Unless I
indeed.
pulled it up really high.
Yes.
Like Simon Cowell.
Which I think with those shorts, I think you probably could do. To be
You
fair, 'cause
probably
they were
could.
big pair. Now,
There you
I
go.
do have a random question, which is how did you
Do the
acquire a pair of Davies Keeler-Gunn's
Oh,
shorts.
there's many a way to acquire random items of kit from Masters.
And did you do the sniff test? Were they washed?
No, they've been washed.
How do you know they've been washed without doing the sniff test? Essentially, what I'm getting at is you to admit that you've smelt the crotch of Davies Keeler-Gunn's shorts.
For the purpose of his legal team, I haven't.
I have not.
If his legal team are listening, I have not. If the Daily Mail are listening, I've not.
I have not.
They're Ryan Sweeney shirt.
There you go.
I've got a photo of a dead horse.
And,
Try not to flog it.
and you've got to book it. Right, so this time round, Nick, you are going to go first. Alan, you're going to go second. And I'm going to... No, Nick, you're going to go first. I'm going to go second. Alan, you're going to go last. 3 questions each. Let's find out what random item Clive has just hidden under a load of lilac paper provided by Bang Bang Fats and Bert Bowery's Lilac Paper Shop, which he got from his wallet. So this shouldn't be too hard to deduce, should it?
It's
3
a
questions.
36-year-old DRX.
No,
Parcel tape from Queensland.
one, just one.
What's you bring that for?
Nick, take us away.
Is this item used as a method of payment?
No.
Is this item used as a method of identification?
No.
I know, yeah, that's what I was going for.
Does this item help you unlock something?
Not.
Ooh.
Is this thing made of paper?
It is.
Is this thing exchangeable for coinage?
It is not.
Does this item have writing on it?
Absolutely.
Is this particular item proof of a prior purchase?
No.
Is this item a handy reminder of a future purchase when you are, for example, walking around a supermarket?
You would have it with you, but not as a reminder.
I know what it is. Right. Yeah, I know what it is. Yeah, I've got this.
Do you?
Yeah, I've got this. Yeah.
Is there only one of this item in the bucket?
There is. Don't read into that. There's only one of these in the world.
No. Nick, Nick, you've got one last question here. I think we're on to one last question.
No, I think I went first.
Oh no! So is that
First,
we all
that's
done?
it.
We all done
Well
on questions then? We
Well
are, aren't we? Nick, what's
I
in
have not
Clive's
got a
bucket?
clue. I thought it was a receipt, but it can't be a receipt. Is it? Oh no, a voucher.
Now, Alan, I'm going to let you guess first because I'm fairly confident that I know what this is.
I thought.
Microphone, please, Al.
I thought it
Thank
was
you.
a very old driving license.
Right.
I think it's a Tesco club card.
You're absolutely wrong. You're approaching right. You're spot on. It is a voucher.
Oh, get ready!
It's not sure I got you Christmas,
No,
isn't
it's
it?
not.
Get ready! I'm not putting my points on the board. I'm putting my points on the board. It's on the podcast. I'm putting my points.
It's a Morrison's voucher.
Oh dear!
I'm in double figures.
Well done, mate.
Well done, Nick. Fair play. Well done.
Get ready about it.
Oh, he's absolutely loving life. Brilliant.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, dear.
You said I've won. Surely you win what you guess.
Yeah.
You've got a bit no one won the short.
You've got some Davies Keeler-Dunn shorts. You've got a Morrison's voucher. That's it. Also, though, however, how many points did you put on the board? One for getting Clive's item right.
Yeah.
Well, you need to do another one for no one getting yours right, and Alan,
Oh,
you
do
need
it?
to do one as well
Oh,
for getting one.
Oh my God.
Sorry. Yeah, definitely.
So even though I did the best one, I get
Don't
nothing.
dish me out
Yeah,
the
because
point.
people guessed it. So there you go.
Right. okay.
Next time, don't get it out.
You're-
Next,
you're
don't get it out in
actually
front of us.
now
Yeah.
Can I just
Sure.
say, I have got 2 of those vouchers, and they do adequately cover your nipple.
That was if I'd have had a
Very
fourth question.
good to hear. Very good to hear indeed. That is almost all we've got time for. Now, we do have to give this podcast bear a name. And we're going to take suggestions from the 3 podcast panelists here tonight and we'll put them on social media. We'll get a nice picture of us all with the bear, put it on social media, and you guys at home can vote, and then we'll reveal the answer in the next podcast. So, Clive, I should write these down because I will forget as well. So, let me get my notebook and find my page. Clive, what is your suggestion
There's only
for
one-
the
one
name of the
name.
bear?
Dave.
Alan, even if your suggestion was Dave, you need to come up with another one.
Uncle Stephen.
Okay, Nick.
Mine is Jordan Beckham Bear.
Yeah, give me more to write down. Jordan Beckham.
I call him Jordan Beckenbauer, so that can be Jordan Beckenbauer. can't it?
Yeah. What can I? Do I get a vote?
Of
course you do.
I think a lot of people will just say Dave.
Yeah, I think a lot of
Dave
people
will get the vote.
go for Dave.
Go for Bush, Steve.
Ossie Bear.
Do we call it Nigel after Nigel Clough? Or no?
Nigel
Was that
Stuff.
OMG?
Nigel Stuff.
OMG.
He's full of stuff, isn't he?
I'm just gonna call it. My suggestion for the name is.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, the bear. I'm going for Oh my God, the bear. We'll put these suggestions on social media, and you guys can vote over the course of the week. That is all we've got time for on tonight's show. My thanks to Nick, to Clive, and to Alan for popping around tonight, for eating cake, and for bringing me cards and getting me presents. You didn't need to do that at all, but it really is genuinely appreciated. And for you guys at home for watching and playing along with the madness, really appreciate it as always.
We just have one last thing, please.
Well, we've got more Freddos.
With you being 34 tomorrow, I think it would be very remiss of us not to sing happy birthday to you.
Oh, he set me up for that, hasn't he?
So
I get the feeling that these two did not sign up for that, and you've just thrown them on the bus on a live broadcast.
Just stopped working.
Yeah.
Look at that.
After three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Craig. Happy birthday to you.
One thing to say about that.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, gentlemen. Thank you to you guys at home for watching and for listening. That is all we've got time for tonight.
Somebody's little girl. I don't know.
That's all we've got time for tonight. Let's play the outro.
Oh my God.
Come on, you Stakes tomorrow. Let's get 3 points on the board, and we'll see you next week on another podcast. And we'll probably have another round of What's in Craig's Bucket. Night. Right, that's all we've got time for on tonight's Mansfield Matters podcast. My thanks to the Mansfield Matters podcast panel. Alan Wilson, Clive Parkin, Nick of Mansfield Town Shirts fame, and Cam Felton as well. And anyone else if they turned up on the live feed. I don't know, I'm pre-recording this outro. As always, you can play along with podcast predictions. The link that you need is in the description. You must submit your guesses no later than 1 hour and 1 minute before kickoff tomorrow afternoon. Can the Stags get revenge for that late goal at Wycombe earlier this season? Can they continue their unbeaten start to 2025 in the league? And can they deliver the best birthday present of all? 3 points, and maybe even a clean sheet for my fellow CP. As always, make sure you follow us on social media to find out when we're next going to be live. We're at MTFC Matters, and preempting any birthday messages, I'll say this now. Thank you!